This video's fan shoutout goes to the Golden Jiggy. Thank you for your support, fellow Banjo-Kazooie fan. To relive my gaming childhood with this gem. I will never see a third game because Microsoft killed the series with that nuts and bolts crap, and the industry just doesn't believe in this type of game anymore. But it's alright. I'll always believe in you, old friend.
I will remember you.
Salem?
Joseph, turn on your Switch right now.
My Switch? What? Why?
The guys who made Banjo-Kazooie made a new game for the Switch.
But I thought Microsoft...
They all left to form their own indie game company. The game just downloaded onto your Switch. You've got to see this.
Get ready for the big surprise.
The music style, the characters, the gibberish speech. It's all back! Yes, the Banjo-Kazooie late 90s style of 3D platforming video game takes on new life in the form of this indie game Yooka-Laylee for the Nintendo Switch. You see, after the ending of Banjo-Tooie teased us with a Banjo 3 game back in the year 2000, fans like me have waited eagerly for the third chapter in this story of our favorite bear and bird duo, a new game for a new generation of consoles and the 3D platformer genre. Unfortunately, in 2008, our dreams were trolled and crushed by the abomination many of us wished had never happened.
Don't give me that crap!
Things got worse as one by one employees of Rareware left the now Microsoft-owned company over creative differences. Shooting games became more popular, and Rare, instead of making sequels to their beloved IPs from the 90s and early 2000s, were reduced to making games and avatars for this thing. A gimmicky device that would be abandoned by all, even by Microsoft themselves. However, the indie gaming scene began to flourish, with many small developers using crowdfunding to make their own games that harkened back to the old days before everything was about HD graphics, online multiplayer, and microtransactions. It was around this time that the former employees of Rare came together to form Playtonic Games, and almost overnight gathered more than enough crowdfunding money to make what they have been wanting to make for years, a new, big, open, charming 3D platforming game, and thus work began on Yooka-Laylee, the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie. This game follows Yooka the Lizard and his bat companion Laylee, characters whose personalities are almost identical to the polite bear and sarcastic bird. The main villain, Capital B, is stealing all the books of the land and happened to steal our hero's magical book. Now it's time to embark on a quest, learning new moves, finding collectibles, fighting cartoonish baddies, and jumping around creative worlds. Yooka-Laylee boasts some really well-polished visuals. It seems like what you'd expect from a Banjo-Kazooie successor made for modern consoles. Smoother textures, great lighting, the Glitter Glaze Glacier and Galleon Galaxy levels are particularly impressive. I have heard that this game has a lot of performance issues on other platforms it came out for from its original 2017 release. Well, it seems like Playtonic fixed those issues as the Switch version runs very smooth. I only noticed very rare instances of stuttering, and they were only for a second or two. So pretty much this game's frame rate is a big improvement over Banjo-Tooie. And yes, I'll be making some comparisons as if this were an actual sequel. Anyway, Playtonic nails it in the sound department. The voice gibberish is just like the original games with all the charm intact, and the music by veterans Grant Kirkhope and David Wise is spectacular. Also changing in different parts of each world once again. The only issue is that a few of the sound effects are kinda weak. There's a lot of fitting cartoon sounds, sure, but for example when you take out some baddies with your tail whip attack, there's not much impact to it. Yooka-Laylee revives that Banjo-Kazooie style charm with its sense of humor and how it presents its characters and worlds. Funny enough, it also includes an appearance from a certain famous indie game character. Because of what this game is, it also makes jokes and references about old school gaming and modern gaming trends. It feels like a nice escape from the modern trends people like me don't like, and a funny throwback to the trends we remember. Aside from the hub world, 5 worlds make up the core of this game. It's obvious that Playtonic tried to make up for the smaller amount of worlds by having the worlds be really big. And I mean that, these are huge and well-designed worlds, with the main challenge always being to explore them to find everything. They get even bigger when you use pages to expand them, and you'll need to do this in order to find every pagey and complete the game. It's a clever mechanic I really haven't seen in other platformers. I gotta say too that the themes of each world are pretty good. There were some like the casino and the tropics that were really one theme, but I thought the developers did a really great job with mixing themes, such as the third level feeling like a mix of Mad Monster Mansion and Bubble Gloop Swamp, and the fifth level being a water level mixed with a space level. My only real issue with the worlds is this. It should have had a fast travel or warp system like Banjo-Tooie or Mario Odyssey. After a while, it can feel like it's taking a long time to go back to a part of the level you now know how to conquer. With how big each world is, a warp system would have made the worlds more manageable. YL has a pretty good variety of challenges in every level, ranging from easy to really difficult. Some of them are fun recalls to the Banjo-Kazooie games, the most obvious one being transformations. Now, just like Mumbo's transformations, some you'll like more than others. My favorite ones are the pirate ship and helicopter. But this game doesn't just pay tribute to Banjo-Kazooie, it's really a love letter to 90s gaming overall. Because of this, it has a lot of different challenge types that reference more early 90s games, such as the surprisingly difficult minecart sections, clear throwbacks to the Donkey Kong Country games. There are also boss fights in each level. For the most part, they're fun, but a couple of them are rather underwhelming. One of them was downright frustrating because of the controls. Let me start that portion by saying you do get to learn some really cool moves from Bottle's snake counterpart Trowser. Most of them simple returns of Banjo-Kazooie moves, while a few of them are more original, and for the most part the controls are really good. They've been improved from the earlier versions, but they're still not perfect. The biggest problem I saw was with flying. Yeah, it's convenient to fly from anywhere, just at the cost of energy, but flying was really awkward. I felt like I had to fight to keep the duo going where I wanted them to go. Then there was sliding down slopes, the problem that made the first boss battle more frustrating. Once you start sliding, you can't stop until you reach a flat surface at the bottom. You can't jump off and hover somewhere like in Banjo-Kazooie, you're locked into sliding. Maybe not the best choice, guys. I'm sure many of you were excited when you heard this game was going to have co-op. I thought it was going to be something like what Rare thought about doing with Banjo 3, but instead of both players platforming across worlds, this is more like Super Mario Galaxy's co-op, but even less fun. The second player just controls this flying cursor that you can use to pick up items that are hard for player 1 to reach. That's it. It's pretty clear to me that Yooka-Laylee was made to be more enjoyable as a single-player adventure. But Playtonic did still include a proper competitive multiplayer mode. In another throwback to old school gaming, Yooka-Laylee also has you complete challenges hosted by Rextro64 in the form of arcade minigames. These can all later be replayed in single-player mode or first-person local multiplayer. The variety of games is pretty similar to the multiplayer found in Banjo-Tooie. As far as the fun level of each game, that's really a mixed bag. Some games are more fun to play for trying to beat the high score in single player, while the more directly competitive games are more fun with friends. The latter is not the majority, however. While there is a decent selection of games to play in Rextro's arcade, I couldn't help but feel like it could have been better. There are ways Yooka-Laylee could have been better, but it is a very refreshing game to behold, a nice throwback to a forgotten era of gaming that has only been carried on by indie games, and Mario Odyssey. The deal with this game is made even better that it's a Banjo-Kazooie type 3D platformer for at home and on the go. If you love Banjo-Kazooie and really want a proper sequel, this isn't exactly it, but it's pretty damn close. Consider downloading Yooka-Laylee from the Switch eShop. Well, that's my review of Yooka-Laylee for the Nintendo Switch. If you like this review, watch my reviews of the games that inspired this game: Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, and Donkey Kong 64. See you all next time!
Huh.